Alright, so far we've covered all the tools we'll need for this model. We've covered preparing the parts so that it's ready to start gluing and painting. And now we can actually consider the strategy of how we're going to go about attacking this thing. So I initially kept all the parts in the large box here by taking out these four largest pieces, the floor, the ceiling, and both hull parts. The rest of the ship fits in there pretty well, but then I realized it can be compacted even further into a much smaller box. So I can definitely recommend the Guinness 12 pack as being quite excellent for storing all your model pieces, except for the four largest, of course. And for these, I'll just be keeping these in the box to keep them nice and safe and out of the way. And while I do have this handy, I had mentioned subsurface scattering in a previous video where light will go through the model, and basically that doesn't happen to metal. So we'll be painting the entire inside here black to help kill that subsurface scattering. You can even see some around the edge right there. That just should not be. So we'll deal with that when we get a little further along. The hull is the very last piece to definitely worry about. I've been going through the directions here. One of the things you need to do first and foremost is head over to the Mobius website. They've got 3 pages of color corrections to print out. Since this is color, I printed it off on glossy paper to be a bit more accurate. If I had painted this on regular plain paper, the colors would definitely be wrong and the details would get lost. So if you can afford to spend a few pages of glossy, definitely do that. And what I've been doing in the last few days is looking over all the parts and how they go together, reading the assembly instructions, and thinking about how I'm going to really attack this. So one of the primary notes to mention is that all these parts here need to be painted before they actually get fully put together. So we'll put together these walls, we'll paint them, then we'll put them in the model later. We'll put together that wall, we'll decal it, do it up fine and proper. What I haven't quite figured out yet exactly is how and when the lighting is going to go in. Some of it will have to go first, some of it will have to go as it goes along, and then some of it can be done last. So just like the painting, it's all going to be in various steps all over the place. And my main first strategy here is to do a lot of the building for all the sub-assemblies. So what I'm going to do here is put all the stairs together, we'll put all the walls together, we'll put as much of this astrogator and the control panels and all these parts together as we can. Then we'll do one major big paint session, see where we're at, analyze how the lighting is going to go in. Then we'll go back, we'll do some more building, some more painting, some more lighting, and so on and so forth until we get to this stage where we're all set to put the hull together. And everything should be good. This diagram pretty much shows fairly well that there's going to be a lot of room in here for wiring. I'm going to try and keep it trim. Usually I'm a bit loose with my wires, so I'm going to try and cut those really tight in this upcoming work here. And hopefully advance my skills just a little bit, as I hope you folks will as well. So like I say, I'm not a pro modeler. I'm just an average guy who's going to make some mistakes, and you're going to see me make those mistakes, and hopefully you'll be able to avoid those yourself as well as we go along. So whether you follow step by step or watch this, do a little building and use this as reference, cool either way. A couple of notes I will mention is that there will be some aftermarket parts that I'm going to be putting in here. So I'll be showing those off. We'll have some specific videos for those too. I have a few in right now. There's some more on the way. So as much as I can do working around what's not here, I will do, and then we'll get back to those as time goes on. So I think first up, we're going to put the stairs together, but we will not be putting them in the hull. I'm going to leave the fusion core part off of here for now, just so it doesn't get damaged in handling it by leaving the main hull and the body there. Once I got the stairs done, we'll throw a bunch of these walls together. There's a pile of those. What else? We'll take a look at here. There's some photo etch parts for this if you want to do the aftermarket version. That's going to require some cutting. There should be some aftermarket landing gear coming in. That's going to require some modification to the landing wells here. And we'll just go along as we go. So stay tuned, and up next is some basic looking over some parts, pulling those out, seeing what's up, marking them, and let's go for it. Alright, so like me, there's probably a few parts in this kit that you are really worried about crushing. The elevator here is one of them, and these stairs are another. So if you have yourself a Ziploc bag, blow a little air in there, seal it up, and won't prevent them from being crushed, but it will give you a little extra added insurance and hopefully some peace of mind that they won't be crushed. And I'm not going to deliberately try and do it, but you can see how effective this is essentially. And to keep the pieces from slamming around, I should be worried about it. So what you could do is put a little bit of tape on the inside of the bag and stick them to that. But overall, I'm not going to be manipulating these too much. So I'm just going to put them in the box over here. So what I've done is the stairwell here looked a little too intimidating for the moment, so I'm going to start off a little easier with some softball work and basically start with these walls over here on page 2. So what I've done is remove extraneous parts from the sprue that the walls are on, or in some cases I took the pieces off of the sprue if they were more dominant that way. And I pulled out the little nippers here and basically just did cuts away from the actual part itself. You'll also see I took a Sharpie and numbered them. Most of these parts have a little number listed on them. This is just easier for me to read quickly at a distance. Some of the parts, like these here, do not have a number, and in fact it looks like the numbers were scratched off, so there may have been a mistake and they didn't replace the numbers. Don't know why that would be, but we'll use the process of elimination and figure out what goes where. So what we'll do here is cut some more of these sprue loose. Again, I'm cutting as far away from the part as possible because I'm going to use an X-Acto blade to do the really fine cutting. Usually I'm pretty casual about doing this, and I'll just rip the piece off the sprue, but I don't want you to learn from my bad habits as much as possible, because there are certainly guys out there who would definitely chew me out for pulling parts off rather than just slicing them really nicely. And to be fair, it does cause damage to the parts depending on how well or poorly they come off the sprue. So what we'll do now is cut some of this loose here. I don't have a cutting mat, so what I'll just use is this regular piece of cardboard here. That's not too bad a cut, and what I'll actually be doing is taking a different X-Acto blade and doing that really nice, if not a file and real gentle like. So we got a few parts here, so let me catch up with you in a minute.